By far, the absolute biggest mistake 99% of guys make is not approaching. And it sounds so obvious that I shouldn't even have to put it out there. But by not approaching, you are guaranteeing that nothing is going to happen. So if you want to exponentially increase your chances of anything happening, approach. Simple. Even if you make the absolute biggest mistakes, you do everything wrong.
Your food is ready.
Thank you, babe. Even if you do everything else wrong, just make sure you approach. Number 2, and this is a big one, this is something I used to do a lot in the beginning, is approaching from the side or in a weird angle. And if you're watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? When you see the girl walking in a direction and you like creepily come from behind or from the side. The reason this is so bad is because the power dynamic, the frame from the start is very skewed on her side, right? Because she's the one who has to turn to come see you. You're like the little peasant coming from the side, coming from behind. You don't want to do that. What you want to do instead is you want to confidently approach from in front. And if you're walking in the opposite direction, just run a little bit, go in front of her so she actually sees you. She has to stop to see you. And I know what a lot of you guys will ask, well, what if I'm stopping her? What if I'm disturbing her? That's the point. You need to disturb her. You need to break the pattern within her day and make her realize, okay, now I'm here. So it's super important. Do not approach from the side or from a weird angle. Now, the third biggest mistake a lot of guys make is not giving enough space. And especially in the beginning, this is very creepy to women because she doesn't know you, she doesn't know your intentions, what you want, and so you are just a stranger in the beginning. You don't want to be all up in her face. So as a rule of thumb, you want to leave 5-6 feet between you and her, and you want to leave this safe zone to make her understand, okay, I'm not here to attack you, I'm not here to rape you. And unfortunately, there are a lot of creepy guys out there nowadays. So always respect people's personal space, and that's going to make her feel way more comfortable. Number 4 is your mindset before the actual approach. And this is probably even more important than the actual approach, because if you go into the approach thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or she is going to reject me, well, guess what? You are going to manifest that into reality. And without getting into some woo-woo spiritual bullshit, if you think you will get rejected, you will. And the crazy thing is, most guys think they want to be successful in interactions with women. They actually don't. Their reticular activation system, their unconscious, is primed to already get rejected. Because not getting rejected and having an interaction be successful would totally disrupt their mental model. So you need to prime and reframe your belief system, your mindset before the actual approach, and actually believe that she is going to like you. The single best thing you can do when it comes to your dating, when it comes to your social life, is to actually believe the girl already likes you, believe people already like you before you talk to them. Number 5 is a weak frame. And by frame, I mean the entirety of how you showcase yourself to the world, which takes into account your eye contact. You don't want to have weak eye contact, especially in the first few seconds of interacting with anyone, especially a hot girl. Look her in the eyes, and you can balance that with a smile, but you can't have weak eye contact. You can't have a weak voice. The amount of guys I've personally coached or seen approach women and have an absolutely non-protruding voice. Their volume is too low. Their intonation goes up towards the end. The depth of their voice is not optimized. So you want to look at all these things. Also, your body language. You want to have a strong, dominant frame to really have a solid frame from the start. And the thing with a weak frame and body language is that it is going to actually affect your mindset and how you think. And you probably remember these interactions where from the beginning you had an absolutely weak frame. Your voice was off, your eye contact was shit, your body language was not there. And so the girl pinged off of that and basically perceived you how you perceive yourself. And so since she's not perceiving you in a good way, you feel less confident, and then you're even doing more of these. You want to break out of that and not have a weak frame from the start. Number 6 is not engaging her friends. Especially if a girl is in a group, the most natural thing, and the thing I did in the past, right, is you have the hot girl, you have her less hot friends next to her, and so you only engage with your target. The issue is that ultimately, the deciding factor is her friends. You want to get her friends on the team, because if they don't like you, well, she's not giving you her number, her Instagram, she's not going on a date with you, or her friends are not letting her go home with you. Because ultimately, think about it this way: who are you? You're just a random guy in the street she just met. She doesn't have any depth, any connection with you. But her friends, she has a history of shared emotions, shared experiences with them. So she's probably gonna listen to their opinions more than to yours, right? Number 7 is giving too many compliments, especially in the opener. It's okay to approach a girl and tell her how beautiful she is, or even give her a compliment on her style, her sense of fashion. But if you give 3 or 4 compliments within the first 5 minutes, it's just way too much, and you're giving away a lot of your power. You wanna think of compliments as on a spectrum, right? You obviously wanna show intent. You want to make it clear that this is a man-to-woman interaction and that you have the intent of actually making something romantic, sexual happen. But you also don't want to give off too many compliments where it just becomes needy and creepy and she doesn't value them anymore. Even you as a guy, if somebody gave you compliments all day, you would not value them nearly as much as if somebody gave you 1 or 2 compliments that are hyper-specific and situational. Number 8 is asking way too many questions over statements. One of the most common mistakes I see, especially logical, very analytical guys make, is turn the interaction into an absolute interview. And this is something I was a victim of. This is something I did, right? You see the girl, and all you have in your mind is, okay, how do I not make this conversation stop? And so you just ask her, hey, so what do you do? Where are you from? What do you like? And not only are you making her do all the work, which is counter to what should happen, because in the beginning, you're the one approaching. So don't expect her to do all the work. You're basically taking a lot of value. But by asking so many questions, you're also making the conversation super boring. And always remember, girls just want to have fun. And if you can't give her that fun, most girls' life, especially hot girls, is extremely boring. She probably has boring friends, a boring family. She goes to a boring job, boring university. Everything in her life is boring. Why do you want to add on to that? She's had a million idiots that day ask her all of these interview questions. Why do you keep being part of these people? Number 9, which goes hand in hand with number 4, your mindset, is judging yourself hard. And this one is really judging yourself within the interaction, because it's super easy when you see the girl not respond in a way that you expected or you wanted, to get into your head and just become extremely judgmental and microanalyze everything you're doing. And there is a place for analysis, but that's after the interaction. When you're at home, you can look back, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do right? But when you're talking to the girl, talking to people, when you're in that social environment, you never want to get into your head, and you definitely don't want to judge yourself. This is where you want to free flow. This is where you want to actually connect with people and have fun. Number 10, and this is probably the most capital mistake that will punish you most, is not going for the date, especially an instant date. And this is something I used to do a lot, because all you want to do is get the number, get the Instagram. What is the point? What is the point of having a million numbers and Instagrams who will not reply or not want to see you again, when you can just go on an instant date with the girl? And this doesn't need to be anything crazy. Now, obviously, throughout the conversation, you want to ping and you want to test for how receptive she is and if she actually has some free time. You don't just within 1 minute of the conversation want to say, oh, you want to get coffee with me? No. But after a few minutes of talking, when you see she's receptive, you ask, you checked out logistics, if she has some time, hey, I'm getting some coffee here. You want to come with me? Oh, I'm going to Starbucks. You want to come with me? Make it super smooth, make it casual, and make it easy for her to say yes to, right? Because when you create these big demands like, oh, do you want to go to a restaurant that is out of town? You're making it extremely difficult. So ideally, the place should be very close. It should be something as simple as coffee or ice cream, or really nothing crazy, nothing fancy. The only goal of this is to actually go on a date with her and connect with her, so you can get to know her, she can get to know you, and potentially make something more meaningful happen. Now, if there's one thing you can take from all of this video, the most important one is probably this one: not approaching. Because none of this matters if you don't do this. If you don't actually approach, you're shooting yourself in the foot, and you're just guaranteeing that you will never get results. I hope you guys like these videos. Really let me know in the comments if you like this type of content, and if you do, I will try to make some more. I'll see you guys in the next one.